Hi, I'm Phoenix, and in this series, you're going to learn about using hand tools in Horizon's build mode. These tools are fundamental to creation and include incredible features like grouping, snapping, duplication, and even painting. If you haven't already completed the Intro to Creation series, I recommend you start there to learn the fundamentals of accessing and moving in build mode. And we'll continue to use the intro world to test and learn new features. Before we get started, take a look at your hands in build mode. You will notice that when you rest your thumbs on top of the thumbsticks, the names of each tool appear. It's important to note that your hands are dynamic, and the tools will change depending on what you are doing. Let's go ahead and dive right in. To delete objects, with the object held, pull down on your thumbstick towards the delete icon. You can also do this by selecting the object and with your pointer inside of the selection, pull down to delete. Thank you so much for joining us in this tutorial. Please feel free to continue practicing with these tools. And when you are ready, we will continue with Style, where we'll learn to paint, texture, and change object material settings. If you would like to undo changes, press your thumbstick to the left towards the undo icon and it will step back one change. You can continue clicking the undo icon to go back to further changes, but only as far back as your current session, and there is a limit to the amount of undo steps available. After using the undo option, you can redo by pressing your thumbstick in the opposite direction. When you duplicate an object, the difference in position, scale, and rotation between the copy and the original is saved into the Array tool. If you push your thumbstick on your left hand towards the Array icon, another object will duplicate relative to the latest duplication. This makes it easy to duplicate several objects, both evenly and artistically. The Array tool is also available after moving an object. It will duplicate the object with the same change in position, scale, and rotation as the previous movement. The Duplicate tool allows you to make a copy of an object. Press your thumbstick to the right towards the square plus icon. Then, place your pointer in the object. Click and hold to pull out a duplicate copy of the object, and release your index trigger when you have it in position. Please note duplicating can also be done by using the object handles, including the slide arrow, the stretch cube, and the rotate curved arrow. You can also duplicate with the object held by pressing your thumbstick to the right toward the duplicate icon. When you duplicate a group, all of the objects, references, and properties are copied to a new group. When two object faces overlap each other, their colors rapidly flicker. Some visitors to your world may be photosensitive, so it's important to prevent flickering in your worlds. Snap to Objects is a great tool for aligning objects, but sometimes when you snap an object, another side can end up overlapping. You can use another object to cover up the flickering, or using the stretch object handle, adjust the surface position slightly so they no longer overlap. When Snap to Angle is turned on, objects rotate by the angle you selected on the settings page. We recommend keeping this at 15 degrees and adjusting higher or lower on the occasions when you need more precision. When Snap to Grid is turned on, objects move one unit at a time. This makes it easy to move and scale objects by specific amounts. Remember, you can easily adjust the units on the settings page in your build menu. Remember that we can slide an object by using the arrow handles. If we slide the object in the world with snapping turned on, you can align it to another object's snap point. Do this by continuing to hold down your trigger and then moving your pointer to the snap dot on the other object. This also works if you are using the stretch cube or rotate arrows. With the snap tool selected, when you put your pointer in an object, you will see dots around the object. Those dots show you which points on the object can be snapped to. On the object you wish to move, place your pointer inside one of its dots. Click and hold. Then move the point to a dot on the other object you'd like to snap to. Those 2 points will now be at the exact same position. The Snap tool allows you to move objects by precise units and angles. To use the Snap tool, pull your thumbstick down towards the magnet icon. By pulling down again, you can turn off the Snap tool. With the Snap tool highlighted, you will snap to object points, grid points, or both. To choose which points you'd like to snap to and how precise, open your Build menu by pressing the Recess button on your left control below your thumbstick. Then, click on the gear icon at the bottom right and click Build. From there, you can select object points, grid points, or both. You can also refine this to specific amounts, like half a meter. And you can also choose to snap to specific angles. I recommend leaving this at 15 degrees. To edit the objects in a group, with your right hand's pointer inside the group, press forward on your thumbstick towards the 3-dot icon. This opens up a property panel. At the top of the property panel, there is a zoom in icon. With your laser pointed at zoom in, press your index trigger once. You will notice everything outside of the group is now darker, and now you can only interact with the individual objects in the grouping. You can exit the group via a similar zoom out icon found on the Properties panel. You can also quickly enter and exit the group by double-clicking your index trigger. Please note that you can bring objects in and out of the group by selecting the object and either pressing zoom in or zoom out on the Properties panel. You must deselect objects to leave them in the grouping. Note that if a locked object is inside of a group, it is impossible to ungroup the object until all objects inside the group are unlocked. Grouping allows multiple objects to act as one. First, select the objects you wish to group. Then, place your pointer inside the selection and push your thumbstick to the left. Now that they are in a group, you can move and resize the objects in the group as if they were one object. If you want to ungroup, while your pointer is in the grouped object, press your thumbstick left again. Note that the objects are still selected until you deselect by clicking once outside of the selection. The Lock tool prevents objects from being selected or manipulated. To use the Lock tool, pull down on your thumbstick towards the lock icon. You will notice it is highlighted in blue when the Lock tool is active. To lock an object, move your pointer inside of the object, then press your index trigger once. The object will be highlighted in red when locked, and if you click again, you can unlock it, which returns it to being highlighted in yellow. To select multiple objects, start with your pointer outside of any object. While pressing and holding your index trigger, move your pointer through all of the objects that you want to select. Then release your index trigger. A blue box will appear around all of the selected objects. Remember, you can click once outside of the selection to deselect. To select objects in a larger area, you can expand your selection tool. To do this, press and hold your index trigger and push your thumbstick to the right towards the plus icon. You can shrink by pushing your thumbstick to the left. Notice that a blue sphere grows and shrinks to indicate the selection area. Objects that enter the sphere will be selected. When you release your index trigger, the sphere size will reset. To select an object, put your pointer inside the object when it is highlighted in yellow. Press and release the index trigger. Selected objects are highlighted in blue. To deselect the object, press and release your index trigger while your pointer is outside of the selection. The grab tool is used to move and select objects in the world. While in build mode, push your thumbstick forward towards the hand icon, which will select and highlight the grab tool. To grab an object, place your pointer into the object you want to grab. The object is highlighted in yellow when it is ready to grab. Then, press and hold down the index trigger to move the object.